and we're going to do some more improvements throughout that park. Here's some of the things that they wanted. We restarted the ball field, did some walkway, emergency repair to the roof, some lighting improvements, the parking lot, and there's some more to come. We're clearing out some area now. They have a master plan out there that they want to do some more improvements that we'll be talking to the county manager and the board here shortly. This is Falcon. This is improvements to their ballpark. We wanted to catch up on some things. One of the things that you can see for Falcon improvements, I don't know why I like looking at this one better, but you can see around their whole park, we've did some sidewalk improvements, did some bridge improvements. One of the major things that they have going on in Falcon is that there's and I want to say this careful because Jeffrey Brown is in the room. There is water flowing through the park, and the banks are eroding with the water flowing through the park. And we're working with the Corps of Engineers. We're working with Diener to try to figure out how to stop that erosion. We think we have a solution to it because if you look down in the bottom left-hand corner where that bridge is, you can see when they get a major flood or there's a lot of water that flows through that park, that's the only way it gets out of town, is it goes through that park. So we're going to figure out how to fix that and preserve that creek and how to make sure that that water doesn't continue to erode the banks. Here are some of the improvements that were made to that park. The playground equipment, the restrooms, the lighting, water coolers, bridge improvements, parking, signage. And you can see that's the new sign that we put up there in the right-hand corner. And once we get back to the remaining funds, you'll see that there's a lot more to be done here in Falcon. Just making sure that we get everybody on the same page and what that looks like throughout the year or throughout the rest of the FY18, probably all the way up into 19. This is Godwin improvements. This is one of the picnic shelters that we added. We found, or the mayor found, that there was, this is the second one that we've added. The mayor found that you could go out to the park, and that the one that we put there a few years ago when the park was built, about 3 years ago, it's just been overrun, and there were people just sitting there waiting. We had a few incidences where people were like, oh, I got the park, so we wanted to add another shelter.
So this is an early picture, right? Because I would think there'd be some chairs by now.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got their benches out there. I apologize.
I just wondered.
No. They don't stand up under. They're picnic shelters. I mean, benches. Well, that was happening. That's why we added the second one. But you can see now this is a major addition. One of the things that's when you go to probably to that edge of the county, people were renting their facility to do family reunions, to do meetings, so they didn't have that recreational space that you need once your population starts to grow, like you would have at Eastover where you have the recreation center, where you have Stedman where you have the recreation center. So Godwin wanted to add on probably about anywhere from 1,700 to 1,900 square feet to their existing town hall so that they would have that recreational space. This is the design. The bids came back unfavorably, but we're working on that to try to make sure that we get that within the budget over the next probably 3 to 4 weeks to make sure that this happens because it's needed out there. And the mayor's real understanding of how government works. So we're working on making this happen. And you can see what we've done. We've done some more paving, the recreation room addition I just spoke about, and we added the picnic shelter here to Godwin. This is Wade. This is there. We added another shelter here. The same thing's happening there. We did some concrete work, some fencing, the sidewalk going into the community building, and also they're doing the same thing. With these older community buildings, ADA, accessibility, whenever Parks and Recreation or government touches a building to do any kind of improvements, you have to touch the whole building. So any improvements that you make, now the new ADA standards, before you can get a building permit, we have to do everything now. which this building is needed. And the improvements here is to also have bathrooms that you can access from the outside, but you don't have to go inside the building. So if they wanted to have a big community day, now you don't have to go to the porta potty. Women see that as not a good thing. So we want to make sure that we add these bathrooms where you can open the door, but you don't access the building from the outside. And that's the improvements that they're making to this facility. Bids came back. We didn't like their numbers, so we're working on that too, to improve that. But this will be a great addition. And for our FY18 ask, you'll see that hopefully in a couple of days. All of these community buildings that are in these areas, the one out in Linden, we want to do some work to that one too, as well as we're doing here in the FY17 budget. And you can see some of the things that we've done here with Wade, paved shelters, HVAC system in the community center, some a new water heater in that building, and doing the family restrooms, as well as some concrete repair for sidewalks. And one thing I want to make sure you understand too, the theme of all of these are just getting them up to speed to make sure that their parks behave as they should for all residents that come out there. We want to make sure that nobody has any kind of deficiencies, and these improvements that we're making around the district help us get that done. This was during the summertime. This was a major success story, let me tell you. Because when you get calls from parents about their child being in a rec center during the summers of in Fayetteville, when it's about 100 degrees outside, you know how hot it is inside. So working with the school system, and I want to make sure that everybody understands, great partners. Couldn't do this thing without them. They bent a little bit for us to make sure that we could air condition the Stedman gymnasium so that those kids could enjoy recreational activities with some coolness during the summertime and didn't have to always go outside when that humidity is just unbearable. This was just a great ad. Working with the mayor out there in Stedman to get this done. And this is some of the things that we've done in Stedman to improve their quality of life, the picnic shelter, the batting cage, and like I said, water fountains and the HVAC system in that facility. Now, here's how that breakdown went for all of the, and what we've spent and what it started out to be, what the numbers were for each one of the existing places. The Linden project, I thought that was on here. Oh, there we go. Should have been the last slide. But anyway, this is how the breakdown went. And you can see over in the remaining balances is where I want to make sure that you guys focus on. And you can see that there's some unfinished business in Falcon and Godwin. We're trying to do some clearing and grubbing to do some work, do some work out in Eastover. They bought some more land, so we're going to try to make sure that that get improved. Stedman, there's an opportunity to bring some more property right in front of, next to the school, in front of the rec center, into fruition for the bank, for the school system, as well as Parks and Recreation with that relationship. So we still have some unfinished business. We'll make sure that that gets done probably over the next 4 to 5 months, and just trying to value the dollar as much as we can to make sure that the rest of this work gets done the way that the town see fit. This is a major accomplishment out in Linden with a part of grant from the state, with matching funds from the district funds. We were able to purchase, I think it was either 32 or 34 acres, and we developed about 10 to 12 of it over this past year. Partif gave us $212 from the trust fund. We matched that, and we're able to add this valuable asset out in that corner of the county. And right now, it is being overrun. So it's being used. The community enjoys it. So this is a great thing. And this is the other. We added basketball courts, bocce ball, picnic shelters, playground unit, great sign, picnic shelters. And we believe we'll probably have to go out and add another one of the picnic shelters. But this has been a great collaboration with the county and Partif, and how you can extend the taxpayers' dollars. Here's the things that were added: open space, parking lot, walking trail, playground, picnic shelter. That's it.
Just a couple of things, and then I'll recognize a couple of commissioners. Mr. Gibson, and as you did these, I think you went out and surveyed all those communities of what their needs were before you actually, it wasn't Parks and Rec that did it, y'all surveyed them?
Well, it's probably twofold, because the master plan that was done and that was approved in 2006 had all of those elements in it. It's the same thing that we're doing inside the city with the bond referendum. So anything that you see being done was put into that master plan. So you go back to that executive summary, and then you take that back to the boards, and you have questions and answers from them, and then you take it to the community. And let me tell you, you don't have to survey the community too much, because they call you.
Right. Last question I have before we go to that. I see Wade, I see Liv, you know where I'm going.
I know.
And I know you're coming on Thursday to at the committee meetings, but we got those folk down in Grays Creek. And
they call a lot.
Yeah, they call
a lot.
If you look up here, they probably didn't see their community up here.
Yes, sir, they
why
did.
They're calling. So hopefully going forth, and I know you're coming to the committee meetings, and hopefully some of that will be addressed way down in Grays Creek.
Oh, yes, sir.
In
Yes,
terms
sir.
of that,
Yes, sir.
we've had that discussion. I call on Commissioner Keefe.
I think Michael, appreciate it, and real kudos on Linden.
Thank you.
It was nice. It took a while to get there, but it was nice. I do have a couple questions. Chairman asked again: Is the reason behind the Grays Creek because they're not an incorporated town and they're not in an official? Are they?
Not at all. Not
Okay,
at all.
all right.
One of the things that happened is probably about 5 or 6 years ago, the school got built. The middle school and the high school got built, and there was property purchased. There were some errors in how that property was developed, and the school system had to do some things to make sure that the school system had what it needed. So we sort of stepped back a little bit until they were finished doing what they're doing, and which was probably a good thing, because the way that the population has developed, the way that the community has grown, what we were going to do probably wouldn't have been the best thing to do in hindsight. So now as we go back and we look for you to give us that guidance in how we develop that community now, where we would put the park now would be more advantageous to the community, so more people can get to it. And you sort of want to, and this is what I tell, wherever the schools are, it's normally where the kids are.
Yeah.
So, and where the best access is. So it probably was a blessing in disguise on how that all shelled out. So now we can make a better decision.
Yeah, well, Michael, that segues right into my next thing. Last one was in 2006. Obviously, a lot of these communities have changed.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's worthy for anybody who may be listening that Hope Mills and Spring Lake have their own plans.
Yes, sir, they do.
And so they're not.
They don't
involved in this.
participate.
These numbers that you have here, they are based upon the Parks and Rec tax.
Yes, sir, they
that
are.
goes in, and they're all come in about the same, and they're based upon their expenses that you show and the remaining balance. How much of this remaining balance do you look at has already committed? Because I noticed Linden is pretty much over exceeded, but are there plans in place for those remaining balances? Let's just say out in Falcon. And some of the communities have approached us probably individually about ways that they'd like to improve their areas. How would they go about putting together a plan or approaching us to say, okay, we have, let's just say Godwin, Mayor that out there says we got 228,000 that's uncommitted right now. We'd like to put it in such a way. What would be the process for that?
Well, now this remaining balance is committed. We still have projects for Godwin, that building, that addition that they want to put onto the building. That's where that money is going to go. It came in a little bit over budget, so we're working to bring it under budget where it needs to be, so it doesn't exceed that number. So technically, the remaining balances that you see for Falcon, Godwin, Wade, Stedman, we're going to spend that. By the time we finish with that, there should be a few dollars left, but there won't be those numbers there. Because if once we let the contract for the Godwin building, that'll be close to about 200. So that'll disappear, and then once we do all the fringe work around it to clean up the area, those numbers will disappear. Same thing with Falcon. They have an opportunity to purchase some more land in front of their facility and add some more value to that. So we're going to spend this. This will go.
And are you working off the directive of the 2006 Master Parks and
Oh
Rec
yeah,
plan?
and
with that?
having even so far as to go, and where we are now is sitting down with all of the stakeholders in those communities and making sure that they're okay with what the master plan said that far ago. So this 1.4 was definitely talked about with every one of the council. Now it's changing. It evolves. It evolves probably monthly. But we're making things happen as far as what they need to bring them up. And then coming up on April the 6th, hopefully we can even improve that even better.
Okay, so I'll end it up with, would you say of that remaining balance, in most of these projects, that money is somewhat committed?
Yes,
all
it
of
is.
That money?
Yes.
So we're really working at a zero.
We really are. I mean, there's probably going to be 100,000, 200,000 here when you look at all
All right,
of them. But
thank
yeah, we're going to make all that happen.
Commissioner Booth.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Great presentation, and I commend you, even though you say, you know, they're not shy about calling. They're very happy because you call them back. That's the
Exactly.
one thing that they say you're out in the community with them a lot. You're listening to 2006, dash 2017 plans, and I think you're on track with it. And I just want to commend you for doing that.
Well, and I appreciate y'all patience. If I could move as fast as I'd like to move, but I get phone calls from Jeffrey Brown too.
Well, that's what I mean.
So I have to.
Being out there, you've seen that these little centers are kind of like the little heartbeat of the town.
Yes,
so
sir.
it's where their kids go, where they can sit down and watch their kids play soccer or baseball, and kind of, you know, at the same time talk with their neighbors, watch the kids, get a snack. I mean, life is good. So
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I just appreciate the patience that the commissioners and the council has, as well as the county manager and the city manager, because quality of life is such an important thing to people, and it just takes sometimes a little longer than we'd like for it to happen.
Commissioner Fairclough.
Yes, thank you, Mike, for all you do. I was just curious at this point, once the county is finished with the project, who takes ownership of the property?
It's still under. Now, let me make sure I understood that question. The parks will still be maintained by the Recreation District, which is Parks and Recreation. We'll still manage everything. We'll keep it mowed, clean, keep it up, manage the whole thing. There are some areas where we have relationships with associations, and they manage certain things, but making sure that the park functions well will be my responsibility.
I was just curious if the municipalities like Linden, Godwin, whatever, or it's basically their property, is it not? Or
Well, it's
whose
in
property is
it's in the district fund. The management of it still belongs to, if somebody wants to rent a facility, they want to deal with something, it's still the town's. But as far as the property itself and maintaining it, it still comes under the district. But they own the land. Those districts do, if I'm answering that right.
Okay, what about, now, I see we got Kim Nasarchik, the town manager of Eastover.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
Is Eastover Ballpark is it the Eastover Park in the town limits?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it is.
It's owned by the town. The park started in 71.
If you come up to the microphone, Kim, I'm sorry, just 'cause thank you.
The park is owned by the town. It started in 71 with 12 acres by individuals. We purchased 28 acres in 2015, so the park was given to the town. We own all of it and have an excellent working relationship with them.
Yeah, I was just curious about that because I was on that board before the first county dollar was ever spent out there.
And I would like to thank Parks and Rec. Our facility now is wheelchair accessible anywhere you want to go.
Thank you. Commissioner Lancaster.
Michael,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
again. And speaking of calls, the Vander Association, that you're, and thanks again for for their association and those folks that keep that running. And those good folks at Vander, sometime in the future, let's talk a little bit about their issues I know that that building, what the walls that are there, but, you know, those good folks there, there are some individuals that are actually paying for that building, and I know that they have some plans also. You assisted them in the past, and I really appreciate that. So if you're out in that area, or if you continue to get phone calls,
Well,
you know they've cast their lot also.
well, and we'd love to work with them and make that a workable solution.
Yes.
And I think we can get there.
Okay.
I don't think that that'll be an issue. We just need to keep working on it.
I know we're close.
Yes, sir, we are. We are.
And they know we're close. too.
Exactly, exactly.
So thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike, and we'll see you Thursday.
Is it Thursday? Oh, yes, Thursday.
Yeah, don't forget Thursday now.
That's right.
Thank
Thursday.
y'all so much.
And we'll have some conversation on some of that signage when we get there on Thursday.
Yes, sir, I
All
appreciate
right.
it. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right.
Thank you. I'll call on the county manager for consideration of the revised schedule.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, for your review and consideration today, we're presenting a revised schedule. At the last meeting, you had adopted the budget schedule that was laid out, and let me tell you what the changes are. First, we've added an early budget session on Monday, April the 24th at 5:30, and we have deleted the Wednesday, May 31st session because there was a conflict. And so the action is today to review and adopt the revised schedule of the fiscal year 18 budget sessions.
Economic Development Commission, one vacancy. I will tell you that, not trying to go in front of the board, this meets once a year. Talked with the county clerk, Ms. Candace, and she contacted Robert Van Geen's office as to whether he would be willing to serve on that. He doesn't know it, but his office said that yes, so if someone would like to nominate him for the Southeastern Economic Development Commission.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's just the nominations for today. Thank you. Appointments to board and committees, Commissioner Council.
We have only one appointment today, and it is to the Board of Health. And I move that we appoint Dr. Sam Fleischman.
Second.
It's been moved in second, to appoint Sam Fleshman.
To the Board of Health, yes.
All right, it's moved in second. If I can get a vote, all those in favor?
Unanimous.
All right, that passes. And just before we make a motion to go in closed session, Ms. Faith, if I could have you come up, I know we did your proclamation, but if you could tell us about the pinwheel ceremony that y'all will be having over at Child Advocacy, since you're here. And thank you for coming to the meeting today.
Thank you. Good morning. We will be having our annual pinwheel planting tomorrow, April 4th at noon. We're planting about 500 pinwheels in the CAC front yard that will represent the children that we served the past fiscal year. And in 2016, we served 773 children here in our community. So those pinwheels will represent that. We'll have some music. Judge Steele is going to be our speaker, just sharing a few words, and then we'll actually have our burger there for those that want to get lunch before they head back. But it's at noon at the CAC.
And anyone that wants to have a pinwheel garden,
Yes, anybody
around.
that would like to plant their own pinwheel garden at their office or their business can order them through our agency. You can go to our website and get them. They're $40, 24 pinwheels, and then a yard sign that says Pinwheels for Prevention.
thank you, that's Child Advocacy Center.
Child
Out
Advocacy
on,
Center.
Rowan
Street, 222 Rowan Street. Yep.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And with that, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session. I think Commissioner Keith asked for that, so I'll take a motion from Commissioner Keith.
Motion to go into closed session. I'm not sure what the general statute for personnel is.
It would be chapter GS 143, 318.11, sub 6.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Attorney.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
We'll go into closed session.
We're dwindling fast.
2, 3, 4. Motion to go out of closed session.
So moved.
Can I get a second from one of you all over there?
Yeah, second.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a second. All those in favor? Mr. Keith.
We're good to go.
All right, thank you. We're finished.
Day late, dollar short.
What was wrong with it?
Amplifier that's for the house speakers has gone out.
Don't tell me that.
We'll have to fix it.